The rain drummed against the cafe windows like 1,000 tiny fists demanding entry. Sophia wiped down the espresso machine for the third time that hour, her hands moving on autopilot while her mind wandered to bills, daycare costs, and the leak in their apartment ceiling that she couldn't afford to fix. She'd built this small coffee shop from nothing, every table purchased secondhand, every cup of coffee poured with hope that today might be the day she'd finally break even. But 5 years of single motherhood had taught her that hope was a luxury she couldn't always afford. The bell above the door chimed, and she glanced up out of habit, her practiced smile already in place. Then the world tilted. Marcus Chen stood in her doorway, water dripping from his tailored coat, looking every inch the billionaire CEO the business magazines had crowned him. The same strong jaw, the same dark eyes that had once promised her forever. The same man who had walked out of her life without a backward glance when she'd needed him most. Sophia's fingers tightened around the cloth until her knuckles went white. 5 years. 5 years of silence, of raising their daughter alone, of telling Emma bedtime stories about a daddy who was working very hard somewhere far away because she couldn't bear to tell a child that her father simply hadn't wanted them. Marcus's eyes locked onto hers, and she watched recognition dawn across his face, followed by something that looked almost like pain. Good, she thought bitterly. Let him feel even a fraction of what he'd put her through. Sophia, he breathed, taking a step forward. I didn't know. We're closing, she said sharply, the words cutting through the air between them like glass. It's 2 p.m, for you. We're closing for you. He flinched, and a petty part of her felt satisfied. But before either of them could speak again, a small voice pierced the tension. Mommy! Mommy, look what I drew! Emma burst through the back door, her dark pigtails bouncing, clutching a piece of paper covered in crayon marks. She was 4 years old and radiant with the kind of joy that only children who are deeply loved can possess. Sophia had made sure of that. No matter how tired she was, no matter how much she struggled, Emma would never doubt that she was wanted. The little girl skidded to a stop when she saw the stranger. Her dark eyes, Marcus's eyes, widened with curiosity rather than fear. Emma had inherited more than just his coloring. She had his boldness too, that innate confidence that Sophia had once found so attractive. Marcus stood frozen, staring at the child as if she were a ghost. Sophia saw him taking in every detail, the slight cleft in Emma's chin that mirrored his own, the way she tilted her head when studying something new, the familiar stubborn set of her small shoulders. Hi, Emma said brightly, walking right up to him with the fearlessness of a child who'd been taught that most strangers were just friends she hadn't met yet. I'm Emma. What's your name? Sophia watched Marcus's composure crack. His jaw worked soundlessly for a moment before he managed, Marcus. Emma studied him with the intense scrutiny only a 4-year-old could muster, her head tilting further. Then she looked back at Sophia, at the framed photo on the counter. The one picture Sophia had kept from their relationship, tucked away where Emma had discovered it during one of her curious explorations. The picture where Marcus was younger, laughing at something off camera, his whole face lit with joy. Emma's eyes went wide. She looked back at Marcus, then at the photo, then at Marcus again. Her small mouth formed a perfect O of realization. Daddy? The single word dropped into the room like a stone into still water, sending ripples through everything. Marcus's face went pale, then flushed. His eyes brimmed with tears he was clearly struggling to contain. Sophia felt her own vision blur, a sob catching in her throat. Emma, honey, go to the back room. Sophia started, but Emma was already launching herself at Marcus, wrapping her small arms around his legs with the innocent abandon of a child who'd been waiting her whole life for this moment. I knew you were real. Mommy said you were working far away, but Grandma said you weren't coming back, but I knew you were real. The words tumbled out in a rush, muffled against his expensive trousers. Marcus dropped to his knees, his composure finally shattering completely. His shoulders shook as he carefully, reverently, wrapped his arms around the daughter he'd never known existed. I'm so sorry, he whispered, the words raw and broken. I'm so sorry. Sophia turned away, pressing her palm against her mouth to hold back the storm of emotions threatening to overwhelm her. Rage and grief and something she didn't want to name twisted in her chest. How dare he come back now? How dare he cry when she'd been the one raising their daughter alone, working double shifts, sacrificing sleep and dreams and any chance at her own happiness. But beneath the anger was a truth she'd been carrying for 5 years. Emma deserved to know her father. Not for Marcus's sake, but for Emma's. Every child deserved that chance if it was safe for them to have it. "Emma," Sophia said softly, forcing steadiness into her voice, "let's give Mr. Chen some space." "Marcus," he said hoarsely, looking up at her with red-rimmed eyes. "Please, can we talk?" Sophia almost said no, almost told him to leave and never come back, to disappear back into his empire and his expensive life. But Emma was holding his hand now, chattering about her favorite color and her best friend at daycare. And Marcus was listening to every word like it was the most important speech he'd ever heard. "Fine," Sophia said finally. "But not here, not now. Emma has daycare pickup in an hour, and then we have dinner and bath time and bedtime stories. That's our routine. That's our life. If you want to be part of it, if you think you deserve to be part of it, you come back tomorrow at 9 a.m. and we talk like adults." Marcus nodded quickly, desperately. "Yes, tomorrow, 9 a.m. I'll be here." "And Marcus?" Sophia's voice hardened. "If you disappoint her, if you walk into her life and then walk back out, I will make it my mission to ensure you regret it for the rest of your days." "Do you understand me?" "I understand," he said quietly. Then, more firmly, "But I won't disappear. Not again. Never again." As she watched him leave, still shaking from Emma's enthusiastic hug goodbye, Sophia realized something had shifted. She'd spent 5 years being angry, being hurt, being a fortress around herself and her daughter. But maybe, just maybe, there was still room in their carefully constructed life for one more person. Not forgiveness. Not yet, but perhaps something even more powerful, the possibility of healing,